Hi everyone, I am Lyka Gemao from Bsba 2E, and I am going to discuss the topic about organizational conflict and negotiation. Aside from knowing the meaning of organizational conflict, we are also going to discuss the definition of conflict, the types of conflict, the causes of conflict, ways to manage conflict, and lastly, the styles of handling conflict. Conflict is defined as a process that involves people disagreeing. Researchers have noted that conflict is like the common cold. Everyone knows what it is, but understanding its causes and how to treat it is much more challenging. Somehow in our life, for sure we encounter or we have been already in this kind of situation wherein we disagree to someone or something. There are several different types of conflict, including intrapersonal, interpersonal, and intergroup conflict. First is intrapersonal conflict. It is a type of conflict that arises within a person. For example, when you are uncertain about what is expected or wanted, or you have a sense of being inadequate to perform a task, you are experiencing intrapersonal conflict. Intrapersonal conflict can arise because of differences in roles. Next is interpersonal conflict. Interpersonal conflict is among individuals such as co-workers, a manager and an employee, or CEOs and their staff. Lastly is the intergroup conflict. Intergroup conflict is a conflict that takes place among different groups. Types of groups may include different departments or divisions in a company, and the employee union and management, or competing companies that supply the same customers. Departments may conflict over budget allocations. Unions and management may disagree over work rules. Suppliers may conflict with each other on the quality of parts. Merging two groups together can lead to friction between the groups, especially if there are scarce resources to be divided among the group. There are 5 main causes of conflict. It includes information conflicts, values conflicts, interest conflicts, relationship conflicts, and structural conflicts. Information conflicts arises when people have different or insufficient information or disagree over what data is relevant. It allows sufficient time to be heard in a respectful environment facilitated by a neutral person can allow parties to clear up information disparities. Values conflicts. Values conflicts are created when people have perceived or actual incompatible belief systems. It is where a person or group tries to impose its values on others or claims exclusive right to a set of values. Disputes arise. While values may be non-negotiable, they can be discussed and people can learn to live peacefully and coherently alongside each other. Interest conflicts. Interest conflicts are caused by competition over perceived or actual incompatible needs. Such conflicts may occur over issues of money, resources, or time. Parties often mistakenly believe that in order to satisfy their own needs, those of their opponent must be sacrificed. A mediator can help identify ways of dovetail interest and create opportunities for mutual gain. Relationship conflicts. Relationship conflicts occur when there are misperceptions, strong negative emotions, or poor communication. One person may distrust the other and believe that the other person's actions are motivated by malice or an intent to harm the other. Relationship conflicts may be addressed by allowing each person uninterrupted time to talk through the issues and respond to the other person's concerns. Lastly is the structural conflicts. Structural conflicts are caused by oppressive behavior exerted on others. Limited resources or opportunity as well as organization structures often promote conflict behavior. The parties may well benefit from mediation since the forum will help neutralize the power imbalance. There are numbers of different ways of managing organizational conflict, and these are: change the structure. When structure is a cause of dysfunctional conflict, structural change can be the solution to resolving the conflict. Change the composition of the team. If the conflict is between team members, the easiest solution may be to change the composition of the team, separating the personalities that were at odds. In instances in which conflict is attributed to the widely different styles, values, and preferences of a small number of members, replacing some of these members may resolve the problem. If that is not possible because everyone's skills are needed on the team and substitutes aren't available, consider a physical layout solution. Create a common opposing force. Group conflict within an organization can be mitigated by focusing attention on a common enemy such as the competition. Consider majority rule. Sometimes a group conflict can be resolved through majority rule. That is, group members take a vote, and the idea with the most vote is the one that gets implemented. The majority rule approach can work if the participants feel that the procedure is fair. It is important to keep in mind that this strategy will become ineffective if used repeatedly with the same members typically winning. Moreover, the approach should be used sparingly. It should follow a healthy discussion of the issues and the points of contention, not be a substitute for that discussion. Problem solve. Problem solving is a common approach to resolving conflict. In problem solving mode, the individuals or groups in conflict are asked to focus on the problem, not on each other, and to uncover the root cause of the problem. This approach recognizes the rarity of one side being completely right and the other being completely wrong. There are 5 common styles of handling conflicts, and these are avoidance, accommodation, compromise, competition, and collaboration. A common way that parties deal with the conflict is via negotiation. Negotiation is defined as a process whereby 2 or more parties work toward an agreement. There are 5 phases of negotiation, and these are investigation, determine your BATNA, presentation, bargaining, and closure. The first step in negotiation is the investigation, or information gathering stage. This is a key stage that is often ignored. Surprisingly, the first place to begin with is yourself. What are your goals for the negotiation? What do you want to achieve? What would you concede? What would you absolutely not concede? One important part of the investigation and planning phase is to determine your BATNA, which is an acronym that stands for the best alternative to a negotiated agreement. Thinking through your BATNA is important to helping you decide whether to accept an offer received during the negotiation. You need to know what your alternatives are. If you have various alternatives, you can look at the proposed deal more critically. Could you get a better outcome than the proposed deal? Your BATNA will help you reject an unfavorable deal. On the other hand, if the deal is better than another outcome you could get, then you should accept it. Presentation. The third phase of negotiation is presentation. In this phase, you assemble the information you have gathered in a way that supports your position. In a job hiring or salary negotiation situation, for instance, you can present facts that show what you've contributed to the organization in the past, which in turn demonstrates your value. Perhaps you created a blog that brought attention into your company or got donations or funding for a charity. Perhaps you are a team player who brings out the best in a group. During the bargaining phase, each party discusses their goals and seeks to get an agreement. A natural part of this process is making concessions, namely, giving up one thing to get something else in return. Making concession is not a sign of weakness. Parties expect to give some of their goals. Rather, concessions demonstrate cooperativeness and help move the negotiation toward its conclusion. Making concessions is particularly important in tense union management disputes, which can get bogged down by old issues. Making a concession shows forward movement and process, and it allies concern about rigidity and close-mindedness. Closure. Closure is an important part of negotiations. At the close of a negotiation, you and the other party have either come to an agreement on the terms, or one party has decided that the final offer is unacceptable and therefore must be walked away from. Most negotiators assume that if their best offer has been rejected, there's nothing left to do. You made your best offer and that's the best you can do. The savviest of negotiators, however, see the rejection as an opportunity to learn.